It'll always be freedom. It'll always be freedom.
Hey, anarchists, freedom lovers, and rebels with a cause. Get ready for Liberpulco, the most anticipated anarchist gathering of the year in Europe. Join us at Liberland Village right here in Apatin, Serbia for an unforgettable experience. We're talking inspiring speakers, hands-on workshops to ignite your passions, and epic parties that'll keep you moving all night long. And don't miss the highlight, a boat cruise to Liberland itself. Connect with like minds, share ideas, and build the future we believe in. Grab your tickets now at Liberpulco.com. That's Liberpulco.com. Your freedom, your community, your revolution. See you there.
Scott Batten speaking behind the camera, and this is a video for Conversations in Anarchy for the Anarchapulco group, and you are looking at Thomas Walls. Thomas Walls is the Minister of Foreign Affairs for Liberland. So, Tom, tell me a little bit about the origin of Liberland. How did Liberland get to become Liberland? What is that story?
Okay, in 2014, 2015, a couple of my friends from the Czech Republic, they were involved in politics there. They were promoting libertarian ideas through a small party in the Czech Republic, and basically complaining about taxes and regulation and things like that, which were, although the Czech Republic is relatively free compared to other European Union countries, taxes and regulations were increasing there. So they were told by other people, if you don't like it here, why don't you start your own country? And that was the inception for looking for places which were territory which is unclaimed by other countries. So they looked it up basically on Wikipedia, and there was a few places in the world that were basically not ruled by other nations, but they're in Antarctica or extremely hot mountainous zones in Africa between Egypt and Sudan. And so those places are not the most hospitable places to live. But there was a place claimed by no other country on the Danube River between Serbia and Croatia, which came about as a result of the border dispute between Serbia and Croatia. Croatia wants the old borders by which the borders are formed by the cadasters or counties, which defined, basically the borders of Croatia. Now, Liberland was never part of Croatia, and it's still not part of Croatia, nor do they claim it, and it's not on any single map of Croatia. And it used to be part of Serbia, actually. It used to be part of a big island, and they dug a channel through it to make the Danube River wider. But Serbia doesn't want it anymore. And Serbia basically, shortly after the proclamation of Liberland, issued a statement from their Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying that Liberland, the new state, is not formed on Serbian territory. Now, when you have a piece of land that's not claimed by any other nation, it's basically what's called terra nullius, or no man's land. It's abandoned land or abandoned property. And it's basically free to be claimed by anyone who plants a flag. And there was no one living there really at the time other than your occasional fisherman or hunter that wandered through the area. So it really was up for grabs. And that's in 2015, on the birthday of Thomas Jefferson, is when my friends went and planted a flag in Liberland. So for about 2 weeks, people could come there, and the news got out. It really blew up in the news media, and that's when Croatia started preventing people from going there. So for almost 8 years, you couldn't even go there. But in 2023, August 2023, they suddenly opened the border to Liberland, and you could visit. And I happened to be there that day. It was during the Floating Man Festival when they opened the border, and I was part of the initial group of people that went into Liberland. We had actually, right before that, we had our first settler, Hunza Urban, who's my good friend. He stayed for 25 days in Liberland. So he was technically the first settler in Liberland. And ever since then, we've had presence on the territory, as difficult as it may be, from obstacles put up by the Croatian border police, or the weather being winter, or the river rising. We've had a lot of challenges, but we've had a steady presence on the territory since August 2023.
Okay, so let's start with you. Let's talk a little bit about the culture of Liberland, right? And sort of the relationship of Liberland to its closest neighbors, I suppose?
Sure.
Okay. Why don't we talk, I'll let you take the floor and go ahead and tell us a little bit about the culture of Liberland.
Sure. Liberland is a community of like-minded people who believe in individual freedom. We're very peaceful. We want to have friendly relations with our neighbors. Our immediate neighbors are Croatia and Serbia. And we can really bring a lot to the table. We can bring tremendous benefits to the area, economic benefits, as well as, interacting with the local residents of this region. We've already provided a number of jobs and economic opportunities on the Serbian side. We'd really, really like to do that on the Croatian side as well. And we can do that by investing in the existing infrastructure. We can create businesses like we're doing to a certain extent. If the Croatians would play ball with us, we could do it to a much, much greater extent as sort of a free autonomous society between those two countries, Croatia and Serbia. Now, as I've mentioned previously, Liberland, or Gornja Siga as it has been known, was never part of Croatia. So, Croatia's currently acting like they own it, even though it's not on any single Croatian map. But if they treat us as a community, they don't have to recognize us diplomatically. We can really improve the economic life of people, which has suffered over the last 30 years. You've seen a mass exodus of people from that region, people leaving because basically there's no jobs there. There's some jobs in agriculture. If you want to become a cop, you can become a cop. A little bit of service industry, but not much. But we could bring a lot more if people are welcomed there. If they, we work together with the local authorities on developing, different projects and programs, and totally voluntarily funded. This doesn't have to be government funded at all. We can improve people's lives without using tax dollars. We can bring investments, which are certainly voluntarily agreed to and given by the people who want to invest and see Liberland prosper. I think we can really make something that will be a win-win, or a win-win-win for everybody in that region. I think we could probably reserve Liberland itself for low-impact residential construction while building up the surrounding area, which already has an infrastructure. Liberland, in fact, has roads already, so that's a plus in our favor. They're not paved roads, but there is a little road network within Liberland, and I think we can make a beautiful development where people can live and thrive and prosper. And we're definitely willing to employ people from the local area in construction and the services industry. We already do that to a great extent on the Serbian side. We've invested quite a bit in the maritime industry, in the hospitality industry, and by holding conferences and meetings and events over on the Serbian side, we can bring the same over to the Croatian side. Now, once they give us the green light, or they simply stop harassing us on the border, we will be free to unleash tremendous investment in the region, bringing jobs and tourism like we've already been doing to a certain extent. And I think we can bring great benefits without any strings attached. And this doesn't have. We want to bring a program that is essentially politically neutral, but economically beneficial, and that kind of plays into our regional development plan, where we're looking at places and zones on both sides of the river to launch projects that will benefit the surrounding communities.
Now, you also spoke about, as the Minister of Foreign Affairs, the relationship between Liberland and the United States. Can you speak a little bit about the work that you've done with politicos and politicians in Washington, D.C., and how those connections are being made and the progress that you're making within the United States?
Oh, sure. I'm very happy to talk about that. Now, Liberland and its message and its history gets a very welcoming reception here in the United States, and we've sat down and talked to with a number of mostly liberty-oriented politicians, people in the Senate like Rand Paul, Mike Lee, and a few others have really responded well to our message. Also in the House of Representatives, we've had very good contacts with people like Justin Amash, who used to be a member of Congress from Michigan, with Thomas Massey, who is currently sitting in Congress from Kentucky, as well as a few other members of Congress who are usually more pro-freedom oriented, free markets, limited government, peaceful foreign relations. Those are the people who our message really appeals to. We've also met with a number of state legislators in the United States, and if the audience will remember, when the Soviet Union broke apart, it was actually state legislatures in the United States which first recognized the Baltic states like Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, when they wanted to become independent countries. And one of the reasons for that was they had people in each state who were of, Estonian or Latvian or Lithuanian descent who lobbied their state legislators to pass resolutions in favor of the recognition of those countries as independent nations. So I think we've done some of that already. In Illinois, a bill was filed in the state house to, express the sense of the legislature that Liberland should be recognized as a sovereign country. And we've done some of that in other countries as well, not just the United States. We've made some inroads in El Salvador, Dominican Republic. The Dominican Senate presented us with a resolution in favor of Liberland being recognized, which was great about 2 years ago. I think we're going to go back there very soon and conclude an agreement with them. Argentina has been very friendly to us. Their president, Javier Milei, is a big fan of Liberland, and we love that. We actually named a street after Javier Milei in Liberland, and we're putting that on Google Maps. And he's signaled that we could be very good friends in the future. And that would be great. Argentina is a huge country, and diplomatic engagement with them would be very beneficial to us. As we're working with other countries as well. I just wanted to throw a few out there to show the audience some examples of other countries we are actively engaging in diplomatic relations with. And that's hugely important for us and for the status of Liberland as a sovereign nation on the world stage. Now, of course, countries can choose not to recognize us, and that's fine. They don't need to recognize us for us to exist as a state or as a country. According to the Montevideo Convention, a country needs 4 things to exist as a sovereign country: a territory, which we have, and which we've identified and delineated. It needs a government, as small as it is. Liberland does have a government. You need the capacity to enter into diplomatic relations with other states, which we're already doing, and it needs to have a people. And we have over 700,000 people who have applied for citizenship in Liberland. We have about 1,000 citizens. We have about 6,000 e-residents, which we talked a little bit about yesterday. That is modeled on Estonia's e-residency program, where you can become a Liberland e-resident, open a business, you get on the blockchain in Liberland. We're very much in favor of blockchain governance, where elections and lawmaking is transparent. If the citizens don't like a law that the Liberland government has passed, they can vote for the public veto and get rid of a law. They can also vote to remove congressmen and judges. That's pretty rare. You can't really do that in too many countries. I mean, there's some recall efforts sometimes here and there, which are usually not that successful. But in Liberland, you can recall government officials and congresspeople and judges as well. So, one thing about the promise that Liberland offers, imagine living in a free country where no one will put you in jail for having the wrong opinion. No one will put you in jail for, not paying your taxes. We don't have mandatory taxation. Imagine being able to live your life and express yourself as long as you don't hurt anyone else, and to live freely and prosper in that kind of environment. Now, that doesn't mean anything goes. We do have rules. You have to respect other people's privacy. You have to respect other people's property. You have to respect other people's rights. And we stand very strongly in favor of that. And we think with those ground rules, you know, a community can really, really prosper. And the countries in history, you see the countries that are more free, they have certainly prospered more. And by setting a role model and being an example for the rest of the world, we can inspire other such similar projects of freedom and inspire existing countries to become more free. And if we do that, hey, we're doing our job already.
How does a Liberland government differ from? I know there are many different types of government, but a government, let's say in the the UN, or just even the government in the United States or Canada, Australia, Europe. What is special and different about the government of Liberland?
Well, we're very accessible. You know, you can contact any of us in the government, and you know, we're probably the most accessible government in the world, and you can participate yourself in government. So when you hold Liberland merits, you have an actual stake in the country. So Liberland provides a way for its citizens to actively participate, to feel like they have something, like they own part of the government because it's theirs. It truly is government of the people. And we're working on putting that into practice. Of course, you know, the great challenge in political theory is when you have an idea and you think it's a great idea, you ask, how do we put that in practice? And that's what we're actually trying to do. We're going from, you know, purely academic discussions to something that is practical and exists in the real world. So, you know, of course, there's some hiccups along the way, and that's to be expected, but that's fine. That's how you live and you learn and try to make it better. You know, no one's perfect. We realize that human nature has its flaws, and through trial and error, you can improve things, and you can make things better for everyone. And we feel that we can offer the best example by which to live by, which is not by force, but by voluntary action and voluntary cooperation with one another, and not taking people's resources or savings through taxes or inflation. You know, I think we're a great role model in the European Union, which has imposed numerous taxes and regulations on its citizens. You know, a lot of people want to escape from that. Now, there's some good advantages to the European Union. You can travel and trade freely within the European Union's borders, but it does impose a lot of restrictions on business, on manufacturing, on trade from outside the European Union. We don't want to join the European Union, but we do want to trade with it. Many of our participants, many of our citizens are originally from the European Union, so I think that diversity enriches us, but we want to stay outside of those multilateral organizations which would impose rules on us that that's not really our philosophy.
Can you talk a little bit about how banking works in Liberland? Now, most nations have a system of central banks that they are participants in. Will Liberland participate in a central bank, or will it have its own central bank? How does banking work?
We definitely do not have a central bank, and there's no power given to the government by the Constitution to create a central bank. And we've seen historically how central banks basically, control the money supply and inflate the currency, taking away the hard-earned savings of the citizens and spending it on pet projects or pork or, government projects that really don't benefit everybody. So there'll be no central bank in the picture. Now, a lot of countries, especially in Europe, use central banks to either regulate currency or the money supply or interest rates or things like that. We don't think the government should have any authority to do that. Those things should be controlled by supply and demand. Now, we do want to engage in banking in Liberland. That's an essential part of a free market society, is to have a place to put your money, to borrow money, and to invest in various projects and economic enterprises. But one solution that we do want to find is enabling banking for Liberland companies. And we're working with a number of banks in other countries that will accept Liberland companies as customers. So I think we're looking at 3 or 4 solutions that might be pretty viable for us and provide stable, secure banking solutions for Liberland citizens and their businesses. I think our finance minister would be able to talk about that in greater detail, or maybe our justice minister. They're the ones actively looking into those kind of banking solutions for people. So,
Well, you do have a currency at the moment that is in the form of a cryptocurrency. If somebody wanted to go look at that particular cryptocurrency, maybe even buy some of it, how would I go find it and how would I purchase it?
fairly easy if you're into the crypto markets. Our tradable token is on a number of centralized exchanges. It's the Liberland dollar, LLD. It's on 5 or 6 centralized exchanges. It's also on decentralized exchanges, DEXs. So you can bridge a currency into LLD and buy it, sell it, hold it. We released it just months ago, and it's held its value fairly well. Of course, there was an uptick at the beginning, as there is with many tokens, but it's held its value at about $2 per LLD. So that's pretty respectable when it comes to the world of crypto tokens. We also have the Liberland Merit, which is not yet exchangeable, but in our own blockchain, the more merits you have, the more of a stake you have in the country, the more voting power you have. When you vote, that's weighted towards the number of merits you have. So acquiring Liberland merits through work or through donations is in your advantage as a Liberland citizen. But right now, you don't even have to be a Liberland citizen to own, share, or trade Liberland dollars, which is LLD. And I think you can look it up maybe on CoinGecko or some of the other sites that track the price in real time of LLD, and you can trade it on a number of exchanges. I'll think of some exchanges. MEXC is one, CoinStore. There's a couple other exchanges where you can actively trade the LLD token.
Now, I noticed on your website that you have a flag, you have a coat of arms, and you have, I believe, a national anthem. What are the other things? There's so much when it comes to starting your own country. What are the other sort of areas of interest that you need to also acquire in terms of establishing yourself as a country besides a national anthem and a flag and a coat of arms?
Yeah, I think it was Frank Zappa who said to start a country you need a beer, an airline, and nuclear weapons. Or maybe I'm paraphrasing here and getting it wrong, but we do have a beer, Liber Beer, which is brewed locally. We do have, we're involved in sports. We would love to get involved in the Olympics. That's a little ways down the road, but I think we have people working on that. There are many things that are associated with Liberland nationality. We have a flag, as you mentioned. We have a passport. We have, a national culture that we're developing. That we take pride in that. Our community is a real community of people throughout the world. Not everybody lives in Liberland or the Liberland area. We have people in every country who call themselves Liberlanders. So our culture is truly global. We're not globalists, but we are of a global nature in that, we have people from all walks of life from every country all around the world.
And if people wanted to get to know the Liberlanders a little bit better, you have an event coming up in September called Liberpulco, which is been called the little sister of Anarchapulco. Anarchapulco, of course, that up until our upcoming February season has been located in Acapulco, Mexico, in a state called Guerrero, and was founded by Jeff Berwick. You now have the second year, it's the second year, correct?
Yeah.
Of Liberpulco coming up, where people can actually come and visit.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. Liberpulco last year was so much fun, and we had several hundred people come. We decided it was so successful that we're going to do it again. And we have a bunch of great speakers, and we have a lot of fun, and there's music and food, in addition to the conference part, where we have really engaging and illuminating speakers who will, provoke ideas in your mind about living free, living healthy, and living with one another voluntarily and freely. And we take boats to Liberland from Apatin, Serbia, on the Danube River, which is really beautiful. If you haven't seen it, I really recommend that you come and visit us for Liberpulco. In August, right before that, we have Floating Man, which is also based on the river, with similar, speakers and activities and music and food, and engaging with the local culture and local people. It's a lot of fun. So we'll do more of that for Liberpulco. I think we're putting some marketing behind it right now. We're getting some beach balls made for Liberpulco. We're getting the boats ready to take people up to Liberland from Liberland Ark Village, where I live most of the time. And it's just a lot of fun. It's a lot of, bring kids, it's very kid friendly. And it's something you'll never forget, that's for sure.
Now, take me through, for instance, a day in the life of attending Liberpulco. If I'm an attendee and I show up, what is that going to be like for me?
Okay, well, we can accommodate you in cabins at Liberland Ark Village. You can also camp there. There's a lot of hotels and Airbnbs in the area. There's some in Apatin, which is very nearby. There's some in Sombor, which is just up the road, 10 or 15 minutes. And, the day would start, maybe you want to go to a yoga session right on our beautiful lake in Liberland Ark Village. Or if you want to take a walk in nature, you can do that in the morning. That's really beautiful. Then in the morning we might have some lectures. We might have someone from the cabinet speak, or someone from Anarchapulco speak. Jeff Berwick has attended Liberpulco, which is great to have him and his family there. And we have any number of people, like for example, at our recent anniversary, which was just held in April, we had a lot of great people. Justin Sun, our Prime Minister from the Tron Network, addressed us. Ron Paul, who's my personal hero in American politics, spoke to the Liberland 10th anniversary. We had, Jose Cordero, who's a longevity expert. We had, any number of people who are really leaders in their field of personal freedom, health, wealth, personal improvement. We have a lot of healthy eating gurus who come and speak to people to talk to them how to improve their lives, whether it's from a physical, mental, or spiritual standpoint. Where there's no shortage of people who share their skills and information with you. So during the day, we'll have any number of lectures, and depending upon the day, we'll have excursions, both to areas within the region where you can see beautiful nature or a little bit of the history of that region in the Balkans on the Danube River, and excursions to Liberland itself. And, you can go over to the Croatian side where the entrance to Liberland is. And if you're from the EU or the Schengen zone, you could go into Liberland. Now, if you're not from the Schengen zone, you might want to exercise caution in going in there. That's a border area, so the Croatian border police have been known to take people who are not from the EU or not from a Schengen zone member country and escorting them out of Croatia. But you have 7 days to leave, so during that time you can also visit Liberland. Unfortunately, they've been making things difficult for some visitors who are not from the EU. But if you're from the European Union or the Schengen zone, then you're free to visit Liberland. We don't make the rules. I spent the first 8 days in Liberland after the border opened up, but I saw them treating people who are not from the EU or Schengen zone a little differently. So I rarely go to Liberland itself right now. We're waiting for some cases in courts to be cleared up and to really stop them from pushing us around like that. But come to Liberpulco, you'd love it. Whichever program you take, whichever options you pick on the itinerary, you will have a good time and you won't forget it, that's for sure.
Now, let's say I can't make it to Serbia, I can't make it to Liberpulco, but I really want to sort of hear the speakers and I want to sort of see what this is all about. Is there a way for me to do that in the sort of comfort of my own home?
Most certainly. We have a YouTube channel, Liberland Official, where you can see a lot of the content that we've posted. A lot of it includes speeches from our anniversary, from Liberpulco, last year, also from Floating Man over the past years. So we also have some promos that will give you a taste or a sneak peek of what you can see at any one of those events.
So Tom, if someone wanted to find out a little bit more about Liberland and a little bit more about you and everyone who is involved, or maybe get involved themselves, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, that would be great, because if you get involved with Liberland, you're making history. First step is to go to liberland.org and register on our website. You can become an e-resident or a citizen, or come to one of our events, whether it's our anniversary or Floating Man or Liberpulco, or just come anytime. You can come and visit us at any time. The information is on the website, liberland.org, or reach out to one of us. I'm available at foreign@liberland.org. Reach out to me, Tom, and we can help you come and visit Liberland. And it's quite an adventure. If you decide to come and visit us, we guarantee that it'll be a lot of fun, and it'll be an adventure that you never forget. So we'll make it worth your while for sure. And once you're involved, the people that you meet and the experiences that you have, they're basically unique and irreplaceable. So being involved has been a dream come true, and we hope that more people join us. People who love freedom, people who want to see a better world for their kids, and people want to see a better world for themselves right here and now. You can join in and help make that a reality.
Great. Well, thank you, Tom Walls. Thanks for meeting with us on Conversations in Anarchy, and we appreciate your time, and good luck with Liberland.
Thank you very much.
Hey, anarchists, freedom lovers, and rebels with a cause. Get ready for Liberpulco, the most anticipated anarchist gathering of the year in Europe. Join us at Arc Liberland Village right here in Apatin, Serbia for an unforgettable experience. We're talking inspiring speakers, hands-on workshops to ignite your passions, and epic parties that'll keep you moving all night long. And don't miss the highlight, a boat cruise to Liberland itself. Connect with like minds, share ideas, and build the future we believe in. Grab your tickets now at liberpulco.com. That's liberpulco.com. Your freedom, your community, your revolution. See you there.